playing Sindoku, who's playing Orisa on Junkertown. This is Gold 4. So I did another review for them about a week and a half ago, something like that, where they were also playing Tank. I think it was Silver 2, I think, something like that. So I think you went up a couple ranks, which is, great. Congratulations. I don't normally do the same player twice, like kind of back to back like this. I usually ask people to wait about a month, but they offered to donate a coffee, so since I have to feed my addiction, I figured I might as well do another review of it. Okay, here are my own thoughts after reviewing the game myself. In the VOD below, I had a game that started very well, minus the first 3 seconds of attack, and we basically rolled the enemy past the first point, but on the second point, we struggled greatly. I reviewed the game myself already, and the other team had an Ashe that was getting away from murder. I missed a critical opportunity to spin their Mercy out of resurrecting her. I think this happened because I was tunneling their tank. I just didn't see or hear the Mercy rezzing, so I must have been tunneling. Other than that, though, I don't feel like I missed any critical opportunities, at least none as big as this one. I feel like I'm struggling to know the best time to push past the opposing tank and start killing squishies. I know that I should wait until my cooldowns are up, but outside of that, should I just wait for someone to get out of position on my team to get a pick and then push in? On the bright side, I feel like that I've gotten better with my cooldown usage and aim, but I still have plenty of room to improve. Although there are plenty of times where I push into new cooldowns, I caught myself doing it a few times, so that's progress at least. I honestly feel like I should have went Sigma and just blocked off their Ashe with his shield, but I don't play a ton of him, and I wanted to stick to Orisa. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff going on here. I reviewed the first few minutes of this. I saw the first point attack at least. I do think that your gameplay looks better. Sorry, still sick. Better than when I reviewed it last week. I think there are still a bunch of like mechanics improvements, and then there's some more like macro level stuff that we can talk about as well. So we start, number one is I don't think I would spin immediately. I would look to see whether or not they're actually, like, you spun before you saw anything. So I would have saved spin until to react to something, because now you notice that you don't have it as long as you'd like, because if you'd started it later, you would be able to absorb this next grenade. Which stuff like that matters, because if you look at the Junkrat, Junkrat's currently at 19% ulti. If you had spin the whole time, he would be at 0, because you would have been able to eat everything. 0 or like maybe 5%. And again, that 15% ulti might make a difference as to whether or not he gets tired in time to stop you. That's number one. Alright, great. So I think, based on what you wrote, I think you're thinking, hey, my job is to constantly get past the opposing tank and kill the squishies. That is something that you should do if the opportunity is available to you. But if the opportunity is not available to you, then don't do that. Right? And I think that's probably just watching the first point previously. I think that you're kind of having trouble understanding that point. And I get that's tricky because it's nuanced, right? Because we talk about tanks like, oh, always go for the backline, always go for the backline. But you can only go for the backline in certain situations, right? Right now, you cannot just run past this whole team and try to kill the Ana, for example. It's just like not possible. There's so much space you need to cover. They have all their resources. It's around a corner. It's through a shield, and the Ana has cover. It's not possible that you could do that. So the other thing to recognize is, am I currently winning or losing the game in the current situation? When you're on attack, you are winning as long as the card's moving forward. Let's say hypothetically that the other team does not actually try to stop a card at all, right? The Sigma just kites you the whole time. He shoots at you, shoots at you, shoots at you, shoots at you, right? Just keeps backing all the way up to the point. And let's say your team gets 0 kills. Are you winning or losing? You're winning, right? Because the card's moving forward. You don't have to kill them. You don't have to kill them in order to win the game. Okay? You only have to kill them to win the game if they actually choose to stop the card. And this is very important because typically they're not very vulnerable until people choose to make themselves vulnerable. I think that's one of the best designs in Overwatch. Nobody in Overwatch, excluding when you're playing against Widow and to a lesser extent Hanzo, nobody in Overwatch dies unless they choose to put themselves in a position where they can die. If you want to stay alive in Overwatch, it's almost trivially easy to do so. The problem is that in order to do your job, you must put yourself into some degree of danger, right? For example, the Ana could play like way the heck back here, and she has basically a 0% chance of dying here, right? Other than like a lucky Hanzo headshot from this distance, the Ana can't die here. But the Ana doesn't want to play here because throwing a grenade would take forever to reach here. Throwing a sleep dart would take forever to reach here, right? In addition to the fact that she can't heal if the fight happens over here. So everyone has to play closer than they want, closer than is safe, right, in order to be more effective. And that applies to virtually all heroes, with Widow being the exception, which one of the reasons why I don't think Widow should exist in the game is because I think she breaks the general idea of how the game works. So what does that mean for you? You can only fight people who choose to get close to you, as most tanks. Okay, you have basically no chance at killing anyone. Like if you're standing, even if you ignore the Sigma and the Mercy, if you're standing right here, you have a 0% chance of killing the Ana or the Ashe. There's just no way. If they choose to not to like, unless they're gonna stand still here and let you shoot them, there's basically no way that you could kill them. Similar thing for the Sigma, even though he's a lot closer. Sigma has so many defensive abilities, right? Between Rock, Grasp, and Shield, right? In addition to his high health pool. If the Sigma wants to kite you forever, he can kite you forever, and there's nothing you can do about that. But that's okay as long as the cart is moving forwards. And the Sigma just keeps kiting you, just keep moving the cart forwards. That's totally fine. The Sigma will eventually have to fight you. And in fact, I would say it's a fairly common mistake that I see in tanks, up to and including even low diamond, where tanks will choose not to die, but they won't contest the cart effectively. So in the entire first point, they will only get one team fight at the very end, at the end of the point. Okay? So again, recognize, am I winning or losing right now? On attack, if the cart's moving, you're winning. On defense, if the cart isn't moving, you're winning. Right? It doesn't matter what the heck they're doing. Like if all 5 of you, let's say you left the cart and like ran this way, you know, through this door, and we're like, you know, messing around, who cares, right? Just keep your team alive and just play way back. And it doesn't matter what's happening as long as the cart isn't moving. At the end of the day, the objective still matters more than anything else, right? But when people play logically, they have to get close to you. So this is a great example where you don't actually need to do anything right now. You're rushing the fight. Walking through an enemy shield is generally a bad idea. Not always, but generally a bad idea. By default, I would try to avoid doing that whenever possible. Currently, nobody here is vulnerable. Nobody here is overextended, and you need to recognize that you have no chance at killing anyone. And so, your goal should be, hey, how do I just poke them down while moving the cart forwards? So instead of trying to push through the shield and push the Sigma, just stay on the cart and shoot the Sigma shield. Sigma shield, unlike most other shields, is actually pretty low. It's only got 700 health. You should pretty much always try to destroy Sigma shield when you get a chance. It's really hard for him to regenerate it, and without a shield, he's quite vulnerable. I think that's an understandable javelin. If you hit it, like, you get good value because you knock Ashe down. No kill, but like, you prevent her from doing anything. But you see how you've already taken 200 damage. Now you're down. Now you honestly should just die right here. The only reason you don't die is because the Ashe isn't looking at you. If the Ashe was looking at you right now instead of high ground, you just die right now because you would have gotten headshot and killed immediately. So you cut this way too close. Then you pop Fortify. Right? And my general rule is that you should try to use Spin first to stay alive, then use Fortify. That way by the time your Fortify ends, you usually have Spin up or almost up to go again. Try to avoid using Fortify first whenever possible, right? Fortify should be your last resort ability, not your first ability. So, right here, just go back and play behind the cart, right? Your team can't help you because of the shield. You see your poor Ana like wants to heal you, but she can't because the shield's in the way. If you just if you just backed up here and broken the shield while moving the cart, like this Sigma can't do anything against you. But instead, you've given the other team a lot of value by burning you down. And your Ana is forced to, because she panics, goes around the shield and throws a grenade at you. But that grenade that she throws at you is a grenade that is not, first of all, she hits it, is a grenade that's not thrown at the enemy. And whenever Anas throw grenades at me, like the tank, I feel bad. Because grenades have massive value against the enemy. So usually if an Ana throws a grenade at me, it usually means that I have made a mistake getting so low that it scared them to have to throw grenades at me. I almost always, like 95% of the time, want my Anas to throw grenades at the enemy. Because they purple somebody, I can usually get a kill. But if they just grenade me, it's like, okay, I just stay alive, but the stalemate continues. So you make quite a few mistakes here in only a few seconds, right? All you have to do, stay behind the cart, destroy the shield, right? And then push forward. So another question you ask is like, when's the best time to push? Okay, so think of the game in terms of resources. Resources are health and cooldowns, okay, which includes regular abilities and also ultimates. So at the start, right here, are you strong or are you strong or weak, or are they strong or weak? Well, you're strong right now. You just came out of spawn. You have full health, right? You have all your abilities. Great. Are they strong right now? They're also strong right now for the same reason. They have all their health and they have all their cooldowns. So you don't want to take in fights typically when things are even, or you don't want to pressure, like pressure advantage and like commit. When I say commit, it's usually when you've started a fight in such a way that there is no way that it will result in anything other than one side or the other dying and the fight being won or lost. Okay, this is not the time to try to commit. You walking through the shield is basically like a soft commitment because at this point you can't get any healing, and you've dramatically accelerated the timetable of this fight. Now, look what actually ends up happening here. You've lost 80% of your health, and you've used your Fortify, and you're going to use your Spin in a second. But all you forced out here was one rock, right? The Sigma is still full health, and his shield's got like 25% health on it. If you just played back on the cart when he pops the shield initially, you could have maintained all of your health and all of your cooldowns and broken the Sig shield for free, at which point the Sig would have been then very vulnerable. Does that make sense? Attack when you are strong and the enemy is weak. Don't attack when you're both strong or you're both weak unless you're absolutely forced to and you have no option otherwise. That's like my dominant advice for like, you know, when to push. So this should be a kill on the Junkrat. It's like a very straightforward kill. He's moving just left to right in a straight line. So you're consistently under aiming, right? You see how you're always just short of the shot? Like, he should be dead right now. And if you want to climb, like, you don't have to make huge, like, great plays typically, right? You just need to be like good enough to get the ones that are easy, especially getting out of gold. That's an easy kill. That's like a very, very easy kill. And that's the kind of thing where like the aim really, really matters. Like obviously like aim will still matter even more like at higher levels when people get better at dodging. But someone moving in what is effectively a straight line, like left to right with like a small jump, right, and coming back down should be a very easy kill for you. And you missed basically every single shot once you started moving. So the second Junkrat does this, like, you should immediately gun him down. Like, this is a gross overextension by him. At this point, I would simply be like, oh, okay, I guess I'll just kill you. So I would just shoot him, because you just saw him use Grasp as well, right? You saw Sigma use Grasp, so there's nothing the Sigma can do now to stop you from killing this Junkrat. So as soon as he walked up, I would have immediately started shooting him in the head and just follow him backwards and pop Fortify as soon as it's up. Why? Because nothing can stop me from killing the Junkrat right now. So you're just not nearly aggressive enough when this Junkrat is grossly out of position, and you should just kill him at this point. So instead, you decide you let him off the hook. You barely do any damage. By the way, you could go after this Ashe at any moment. You could hear her on high ground. You could javelin her, for example, and that would result in a kill. So you're deathly allergic to destroying the Sigma shield. So Ramatra Shield's the only shield in the game I recommend you just never destroy. Ramatra Shield has 1,000 health and it lasts like, I don't know, like 6 seconds or something. I basically never see Ramatra Shield get destroyed before it just fades away. Sigma Shield is a persistent resource, like he'll have it always unless somebody lowers it / breaks it. So my recommendation is always to break Sigma Shield whenever possible. Because you're playing like around the shield, it's like generally fine, but it prevents your team from doing anything valuable. So this is a great example where he throws the trap. The only person who's going to hit this trap is you. Okay? Your team is like way too far back to ever touch this trap. Don't even look at it. Just keep doing what you're going to do and don't walk onto the trap. You're like, oh, okay. Like, think about the fact that when the Junkrat throws this trap, even though he misses you with it, right? He basically stuns you for like 1.5 seconds while you shoot the trap, which is not worth it. So, generally speaking, don't javelin tanks unless you're going to get a kill, or at the minimum, knock them into a wall. This is a very low value javelin, and you could have gone, for example, the Junkrat or the Anahare instead. So once again, great example where, like, are they strong or are they weak right now? Well, it's, I think, a 4-4 right now, so you're even in terms of numbers. They still have mostly all their health, and they have full health Sigma Shield. My advice is the exact same. Just stand behind the cart to avoid getting shot by Sigma, and just destroy the shield. And then you can walk through and do whatever you want. Good kill on the Junkrat. You shouldn't. So this is a good example of things that won't happen at higher levels. So this Junkrat died because he moves backwards in a straight line. And that's why you're able to javelin and kill him. At higher levels, that will not happen. The Junkrat will walk backwards and he'll immediately tuck into the left and then go back to get the Mega. Like, if you think it's hard to hit things now, it's going to get much, much harder as you go up. Because people will stop doing silly things like this. But you also will, so. So another example, okay, so you're trying to pressure here, you kill a jump. So another thing I noticed is that you just don't shoot enough, right? There's like these like pauses that you have You see right now, it's like, why would you stop shooting right now? Like, the Sigma is available in front of your face. You know? And then you pause again right now. So, Orisa is not like long burst, pause, right? Just keep shooting. As long as you can, just keep shooting, right? When you start getting close to max heat, just feather your shots. Like, tap, 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 like that. To prevent yourself from overheating. So, you're not doing optimal damage. Like, even for getting accuracy, like, you're not optimally shooting out enough bullets. You're probably only shooting out something like 60% of the amount of shots that you could do. Right? Imagine that you have a gun that shoots almost twice as fast. That's effectively your problem that you're handicapping yourself to right now. You just don't shoot enough. All right. So, again, let's reanalyze. You know, forget the shooting for a second. Just think of the actual engagement. So you kill the junk. Right? The Ash got res, so I think you're back to even. Once again, you pop Fortify first instead of Javelin or instead of Spin. You don't need either one. You're at 440 health. You don't need to do either one of these things. Though you are going to be in trouble because this shield is blocking off your team and the Ash is still on high ground, which you should have helped clear a while ago. Again, you can't kill the Mercy from here. Like, there's no way to kill the Mercy. Just functionally, like, she's too far away with the other support here, right? In an open field, like, she can tuck into the right. She could just fly to the Ana. Like, there's a lot of things she should do. Just burn the Sigma down. Right? You have to recognize, like, what is overextension and what is not. Neither the Mercy's for sure not overextended. The Ana, like, might be if you had Fortify right now, and if you hadn't popped it already, like, you might be able to pop Fortify and kill the Ana. But there's virtually no way to kill a Mercy from this situation, and that just comes with experience and time. Right? You play the hero more, you understand, like, what can you punish, what can't you punish. This positioning from them overall is, like, pretty good. I think you just break the shield and just shoot the Sigma, because again, the Sigma is not stopping the cart. And as long as he's not stopping the cart, you can just keep forcing him back this way. And I know like, you shoot the Sigma and you're like, oh, okay, I can't kill him. That's right, that's fine. Like, you can't always choose. Like, again, Overwatch is has a really excellent design, is that you cannot choose when people die in Overwatch. All right? I'm going to emphasize that enormously. You cannot choose when people die. People die when they put themselves in positions where they can die. Right? Just like you as Orisa, like, you don't die if you play safe behind the cart. There's literally nothing the enemy team could ever do to kill you if you stand behind the cart, and you just play safe. Okay? But obviously, you need to leave the cart at some point to do your job. Same thing with the Sigma, okay? It's okay to just shoot the Sigma, force the supports to constantly heal it. That's okay. That's already value right there. So again, you get yourself super low here because of just poor cooldown usage. Right? You're consistently popping Fortify first, despite the fact that it is a much longer cooldown. You don't even need Fortify because you're at like 440 health. Right? It's like, this is not the time that you need Fortify. I don't even think you need to spin. I think you just need to shoot the Sigma. Like, you're going in like, oh, I'm going to commit and win this fight. Like, you're not doing anything right now. You know what I mean? Like, you've popped your abilities. You pop Fortify here, and then you pop spin to get out. And if I'm the Sigma, I'm just like, I don't know what you did, why you did those things. You know? It's not... Let's rewind from the Sigma's perspective. Okay, it's just shooting. Okay, so he pops Fortify, right? Then he's just gonna walk backwards. You know? Does he look like he's in any danger of dying? He's like body blocking a little bit to make sure you don't kill anybody. He does this rock at the wrong timing. You get super low and he just knocks you back. You're not any threat to him right now. And you should understand that you are not a threat to him, and that's okay. Just poke him down, right? Just force resources to move the cart forwards. So this is interesting. So you basically try to go for a kidnap here. I like this idea because it forces the supports around the corner. Once this happens, you go for the Ana. It's very lucky your Javelin hit the Ana. You go for the Ana. It's a good kill. So right now is a time where you should go for the supports. Okay? Again, you kill the Ana. Great. You know that Mercy is here. You have to know. Because you're looking at the Sigma and you can see the heal beam. So you know how over here, right, where the Sigma was standing right here and the Mercy was over here, and I'm like, you can't kill the Mercy in this situation, right? Here, you absolutely can kill the Mercy in this situation, because where's she gonna go? She has nobody else to fly to, and she's in the middle of your backline. Just kill the Mercy right now. I know the Sigma like looks low, but the Mercy is even lower, right? Sigma at half health still has, 200 something HP. right? 230. The Mercy at 3/4 health only has 154, and she doesn't have any damage mitigation. Just kill the Mercy right now. Like, that's what you should be doing. You see how you're shooting the Sigma right now? Just kill the Mercy. Again, you see how you're tunneling the Sigma? Just kill the Mercy. At any moment in time, you could have killed this Mercy. Again, the Mercy literally lands in front of you. And you don't even... Like, I would immediately just javelin the Mercy and kill her. Even with the Junkrat, like, who cares? I'm just gonna kill the Mercy. So, right here, like, I don't even understand why you're spinning. Like, she's not actually that close to you, so your spin's not even doing damage yet. Just start shooting her. There is no world where this Mercy should get away. So, important thing is to recognize for Mercy, she has the Guardian Angel to somebody who is alive or somebody who has recently died. So, she's up in the air right now. Which way, like, let's just pause for a second. Where is this Mercy gonna go? Is she gonna go to the Sigma who died over here? Is she gonna go to the Junkrat who died over here? I don't think so, right? The only way that she can go is towards the enemy at the window that you can hear / see. So instead of shooting at the Mercy in air, just shoot towards the Ashe, and then she will fly into the shots. Right? And you see how your aim is just totally off here. Right? You're shooting everything but at the Ashe. If you just shot at the Ashe, she walks... Like, she's so low right now. She only has 50 health. Right? Just shoot at the window and she dies. It's a big mistake to not have the Mercy not die there. Okay. So ideally, you would go up and take here. Because ultimately, when they drop out of the window, the only safe spot them is behind Outhouse right here. So ideally, you'd already be up, playing here under them, to strongly discourage them from jumping. Because if they drop down, you could just kill them instantly. Any 200 health hero, you'll kill instantly with Javelin and shots. However, you're the only one on the cart, so you kind of need to be on the cart, right? I would be like, oh, I'd look, be like, hey, is anybody else on the cart? No? Okay, fine, I'll just play the cart. Then you walk away from the cart right here, which is a mistake. There is no reason not to not to be in cart right now. You're not doing anything effectively here, right? You're like, okay, cool, I hit this Ashe, but what's this gonna do? The Ashe is already being pocketed by the Mercy. She's gonna get instantly healed in a second, right? Well, she actually gets knocked to low ground. But ideally, she would have been instantly healed by the Mercy. So the Mercy pops Valk. Again, this would not have happened if the Mercy was dead because she wouldn't be participating in this fight. At this point, they are committed. Once they drop out of the window, they're committed. There's no escape for them. They've decided, hey, I'm going to go here and I'm going to win or lose. So at this point, I would be looking to spin forward and I want to ulti these three into me, preferably right here so the Hanzo can get a kill and then kill him. So, I do not understand why you're going for the Sigma right now. Okay? In general, if the tank is in front and the backline is the backline, you go for you just shoot the tank. But in the situation where they're all equally accessible for you, then you go for the backline. Okay? So that's like a general problem that I've seen, we already seen this earlier in the game, where when it's the right time to shoot the tank, you try to go for the backline. When it's the right time to go for the backline, you go for the tank. And that's what's definitely going to be holding you back a ton. Because think about here, when you come forwards, imagine, instead of trying to go to the left, I just will pause here for a second. Imagine right now, you see how low the Ana is? Imagine you step up just a little bit and you ulti them all in. Ana just instantly dies. Okay, then you kill the Junkrat, and then the fight's over. Instead, you go for the Sigma, which is the worst possible option. And you see how the backline is, again, staying alive a long time because they have the Mercy Valking, right? Keeping everybody alive. You're lucky to pull the Ashe in here. And then you do basically nothing. Right? And you're still just chasing down the Sigma. Again, who's just being pocketed. And you're just getting obliterated because you've broken line of sight of your team. Okay? You just recognize, hey, the cart's here. So when you're going after the Sigma, the second you pass here, I'd be like, I'm not going to get any more healing. You should accept that fact. It's like, if I go past this, I'm relying on me and just me to win whatever this engagement is. Which is not generally a good idea. But unless you have some sort of advantage, right? If you're fighting like a 100 health DPS, yeah, go ahead and do it. But a 2/3 health Sigma with a Valking Mercy in the air, probably not so good. Right? You have no ability to get healed by your team here. And then you continue, right? Again, breaking line of sight. Like, maybe I would have expected some healing here, but once you got purple, there's not a lot that your team can do. But all the way back here, is a terrible idea. You see how the Ana is literally just following you this whole time? The enemy Ana is just like hopping and following you. Yet at any moment in time, you're gonna turn back and just kill this Ana. So, what's the overall takeaway here, right? The overall takeaway, I mean, there's many takeaways here, but I'd say number one, if you could have stepped up and stopped them from dropping, that would have been ideal. Number one. Number two is if the tanks and backline are equal distant from you, go for the backline. Otherwise, go for just the tank, right? But assuming you are going after somebody, let's say you were chasing DPS or whatever, recognize that when you're breaking LOS, and now you're putting yourself in big trouble. Also, this old play is like basically useless. Like, yeah, you did like 175 damage to Sigma. You could have done the damage just shooting at him. Alright, your teammates are capping this. Luckily without you. So I think this is a good spin to knock the Bob out of position. So, once again, Rock's definitely not aimed at you. Very clearly, Rock is not aimed at you. You pop Fortified despite the fact you're almost at full health. And you missed a great opportunity to javelin the Sigma into the wall. Right here. Right here would have done it. Especially if you went to the right. Over here, you could have stepped to the right and then javelin him into your team, and then he would die here. So, big mistake. He's purple, and I know you're going after him because you're like, oh, he's purple, I can kill him. You cannot kill him. This Sigma is not going to die. I don't care if you're the best Orisa in the world. This Sigma is not going to die. Why? Because by the time Grasp ends, purple will be basically done, and he has two supports here. You simply cannot outdamage them, especially with your aim. You cannot outdamage two supports. Not going to happen, right? Especially with Mercy's healing buff now, to under 50% health. You simply cannot kill this Sigma. Instead, right? As you mentioned, there's this crazy res right here that you could have interrupted. Sorry. So you could have interrupted that res, or even after the res, just kill the Ashe. How's the Ashe gonna get away? She used her one coach gun. You could have just killed her here. Right? Now you've broken line of sight with your healers. You're purple. You're going around the corner. You have no cooldowns. Then you pause right here, which I don't think is a good idea. I think you could have just kept going backwards and then let your supports heal you. Again, you see their ammo grenade you again. Again, that's because you're not playing well, to be perfectly honest, right? You're constantly putting yourself in like critical health situations, which is why your aim is doing this. You get super low. I mean, this one I don't believe for. You get headshot by the Ashe, right? I would pop spin right now and just stay behind the cart. Yep. Don't forget you can crouch, right, to make yourself smaller. I do not think you go backwards here. Going backwards is not going to result in anything beneficial. I think you have to stay up in this position. Where is your Genji? Oh yeah, Genji's over there. Yeah. So again, it's 5-on-5. Like, you should just stay up behind the cart. Like, after spin, stay in the cart, crouch if you have to, right? Like, wiggle a little bit and just get healed back up, right? While continuing to put out gunfire. So you miss an opportunity to javelin right here. When I see the Sigma do this, I immediately toss a javelin to his left. Why? The Sigma's not going to keep going, right? There's no world where the Sigma's like, oh, I'm going to run up these stairs and that'll be fine. No, the Sigma's clearly just wide peeking here, which is a mistake for him, and you should punish that right away by javeling him into the wall. And then you'll do a ton of damage and probably force grasp. Okay, fine. So he uses grasp. Okay, so that's one resource for him down, and he's already at half health. So you spin into him. I don't think I would spin. I would just wait because I want to save spin in case I need it later on. And the extra 100 damage is not a big deal. Spinning tanks is not that important for damage. That is right for damage negation. If you need it, sure. But your regular gun does something like 100 something damage per second anyway. So just shoot them, and that's assuming no headshots. Right? Don't use spin for damage unless you have trouble hitting them. So small evasive targets like a Genji or whatever, or a Kiriko, yeah, go ahead and spin them because that damage is really significant. It takes away half their health. But for tanks, just shoot them. Like your accuracy at this range against a tank, your accuracy should be like 90%. If I'm standing here, my accuracy here is like literally 90 to 100%, and of that, probably 40% plus are headshots. So as soon as tire happens, I immediately turn and go back. and I'd probably chuck a... Oh, I don't have Javelin right now. I would go back right away and try to shoot this tire. Why? Nothing here matters if the tire kills my team. And I can already tell, based on the sound, that it's happening from the window. So it's either going to be coming from window, or maybe the Junkrat's like a god. He'll flip it over the top. But most likely, it's coming from window. So I come back here, and I immediately start shooting the window. Because I know my team is clumped right now because of the previous positioning in my head. Like, I'd recognize, hey, my team's all grouped together. Because the last time I saw them, they were clumped together. I have to kill this tire. Instead, you pop Fortify. You totally ignore the tire. Your team dies. Now you just need to die. Yeah. So I think the good news is that you recognize that you need to die right away. So, tip to try to kill yourself faster is, especially at higher levels, people will recognize when you're trying to give yourself up, and they will just like kill you slowly. Go straight for a support. In this situation, just run straight at the Ana and shoot her, right? You can even Javelin to try to kill her, because the team will instinctively protect their supports, and if they don't, you kill the support. So you can then kill the support and then move on, like assuming you're still alive, try to kill the other support and just keep going. You know, that's how you accelerate your death faster. Don't try to dodge, right? I think, like, don't pop Fortify here, for example, but, like, do try to maximize your damage output as fast as you can. It also helps you farm multi. Right? Just standing still here results in them killing you slower than if you just went straight at a support, typically. Especially in higher ranks where people will intentionally keep you alive. Alright, kill the trap. So you do spin here, again, like, why are we spinning? You know, like, you don't see anything, you waste the entire spin, and then you just stand still for nothing. Ultimately, you're not a hero that can control window. Just not your job. I mean, it would be great if a tank could do that, but you're not playing that tank. I think in general, brawl tanks, on second point, I think first point they're fine. On second point, I think it's really hard to play brawl tanks, typically. Because high ground is such a critical part of second point. And I would prefer to play like Winston here, or D.Va, for example, or even like Sigma, who has some ability to pressure the high ground. As a brawl tank, you can't really do very much. You're going to go main, they're going to stand above you, and they're going to pick off your whole team, is what's going to happen over and over and over again. I think that your only options are, one, they make a mistake and they drop down early. Two, your DPS are able to pressure them up high ground. Or three, you come through the right. You can also go from here, but anyway, anything that goes to the right, come up through these stairs and then push them off this way, which can also be strong. But I suspect, having not seen this replay, you're going to go into a pretty predictable pattern where you're just going to go main and you're just going to get absolutely wrecked every time by people on high ground. Another great example where you are pushing into the backline for no reason, right? So you're already missing a third of your health. Right? Now you're at half health and you decide to run forwards. The good news is you spin first, at least, instead of using the Fortify. But, like, what is this going to accomplish? If I'm the backline, I see a half health Orisa coming, I'm like, okay, I'll just kill her. You know? Then you pop Fortify, your spin's not even down, and you pop Fortify, which is not the first time that you've overlapped your abilities in this game. Then you Javelin, and now you're fighting 3 people with 2 supports. You just can't kill anyone here. There's like 0 chance. The Sigma is holding back your whole team. Right? Now you get purple. You're walking forwards now despite having no cooldowns and 229 health. Like, you should be dead. You're extremely lucky to not be dead right now. Right, you pop spin. You managed to interrupt Sigma ulti, which is great. But you solo ult the Junkrat, who is already out of position. Like, this you don't need an ulti here to kill the Junkrat. The Junkrat is crazy out of position. Just shoot the Junkrat. He should die here. You know? Like, you should not need to use ulti here. Shooting at Valk Mercy is generally not too valuable in terms of time. I think the most important thing to do right now is to look and be like, okay, who's killable right now? Okay? High ground, most critical thing for me to do. I cannot kill this Sigma or this Ana. Why? The Sigma is full health, which generally means it's going to take forever. Like, when I say can't kill, I mean, can I kill them in less than 5 seconds? Or less than 3 seconds? This Sigma, if you try to kill him, would literally take you like 20 seconds to kill him. Easily. Assuming you're invincible, literally could not take damage, it will take you like 20 seconds to kill the Sigma. Between the Valk Mercy, the Ana, and the Mega, there's no way that I can kill the Sigma. Can I kill the Ana? No, because the Sigma's in the way, so he can shield, he can grasp, he can rock. Also, there's a Mega in this room. Right? I don't know when the Mega's been taken, but this fight will take so long, the Ana will be able to go in here and get Mega. Neither of these 2 heroes are overextended. You cannot kill them. Do you know who is killable? This Ashe, who's low health above you that you can hear shooting. All you have to do is be like, okay, cool, Mercy pop Valk, I'm going to run, jump up here, come over, and kill the Ashe. Okay? The Ashe either dies or she coach comes back to her team, which is just fine. Instead, you're wasting your time trying to shoot the Mercy. Now you spin into the enemy team. Again, of all people to be attacking right now, the Sigma's the worst, especially now that he's nanoed. I don't know what you're doing. You decide to shoot the... Right, finally you're like, oh look, there's an Ashe there. That Ashe has been killing your whole team the whole time. And now, you've wasted all your cooldowns. Okay? You have no Fortify right now. You have no spin. Sigma's just following behind you. You're Javelin the Mercy, and you could have tried to get the kill there. You're super low health, and you die. Yeah, you can't shoot dynamite, unfortunately. I wish. So, this is a good example where the Sigma is in fact actually overextended because his supports are not in LOS at all. And you should recognize that as soon as you stepped over here, you're like, wait, where's his team? And so I should start going down the stairs and immediately start pressuring the Sigma until the supports come and help him, and then I can play slow again. But you can't do anything about the Ashe, not from this angle. But if you play this wide out, no one can see you, right? You want to stay so the Kiriko can see you. So if you play that far out, like I think you just want to get on the card as soon as possible. Now you're super low, so you're forced to pop spin, which is, it's good that you spin down instead of Fortify. Go for the Sigma, yep. Because now you recognize the Sigma is clearly overextended, right? Being able to recognize what is overextension, like who is killable, is very, very important. The Sigma is overextended right now, right? He still has grasp, and he still has full health, but he's way, way out of position. It's very strange that he stepped forward like that. You missed Javelin, unfortunate. See how you're like, you kind of like stop shooting multiple times. Right. You stop shooting, just keep shooting. Right, walk through. The thing is, like, you can't do meaningful damage to the Ashe in this angle. I mean, you can shoot a little bit, but like I would focus on the Sigma. Alright, Bob's in. I don't think you could really stop with Bob. Yeah, I mean, it's too hard of an angle to Javelin or spin that off. So now I think correct call is to go back, because with Bob in your backline, your backline can't step forward. So I would just like spin backwards, Javelin the Bob, and keep him off my Ashe while killing the Junkrat. Yep, good, right, good kill, right? That's a solid like A+ kill. That's kind of stuff you want to do a lot more often. So in this situation, you don't necessarily need to walk towards it. Okay, once the aggro's on you, it's going to keep aggro until you break line of sight. So I would have just gone back here where it's safe and then just kind of shot it from here. It's unlikely that it's going to die first before it fades away anyway because of the fact that nobody else is shooting at it, which is totally fine. Right? It's really just a zoning mechanic right now. So I see Sigma is at 2/3 health, and I still have to use Grasp, which means I have an opportunity to now pressure the Sigma. So you want to be shooting the Sigma right now. So again, like, you kind of use spin randomly for no discernible reason. You're at 490 health, no one is shooting at you, and the Sigma is rocking. Why are you popping spin? Right? Again, try not to use spin as damage against tanks. Just shoot them. Right? Stop shooting the Ashe, just shoot the Sigma. Oh. So if you've been tracking ultis, I understand not having it, but if you've been tracking ultis, you should have known the Sigma had flux. I would assume he had flux last fight when he stepped way forwards. So when he starts doing this, that's your opportunity to spin him, because you can get free damage while this is going on. Alternatively, you can just keep walking with him and meleeing. However, your team just lost 2 right now, so there's no way to win this fight anyway. So nothing you do at this point. I would just try to get out or die at this point. The thing is, it's like the Ashe is like killing your backline. There's nothing you can do as a Orisa without going right side and going up and pushing. Like, you've had opportunities, remember, like previous fight where I'm like, hey, just go up the stairs and deal with the Ashe right now, and your team has been getting picks on the Ashe. But the thing is, you're not creating any other space whatsoever. Like, you and the Sigma, for the most part, are just canceling each other out, which is not so good. Right? Because again, if you want to climb, you have to be better than everyone else in the game, and you are certainly not demonstrating that you're better than the Sigma. Unfortunately, he even blades up there. All right, so you come back as dive, but it's too late. defense. So as soon as I see Doom, I know it's dive. I know I want to save. I want to save Javelin for a block. Right? I do not want a Javelin early unless I'm 100% sure I can hit the Javelin. Not much you could have done about that. So again, like, your team is down 1, but they're also down 1, so it's like kind of even right now. You can see one's in. Again, this is a surprisingly good kill, but I think an audacious moment to spin forward right now. There's no real reason to believe that you could have gotten this kill. Honestly, you should have gotten slept or blown up by anybody here, like the Doom or the Ana. But you know, you'll get it. I think that walking with your opening your flank to the entire backline is generally a super bad idea. Like, this Ana could easily have slept you at any moment here, and that sleep probably results in you dying. So you get the kill, but I don't think this was a good play. So shoot the Doom until he blocks block, and the second he does block, immediately Javelin. Instead, you shoot him too much. Right? Now he has an empowered punch, which he wastes. Right? But yep, good. Stay on the Doom. So this is a great example. Oh man. Okay, well, good Javelin. So I personally would not do this because that Ashe is basically full health, right? She has the Mercy healing her, she has the Echo here, there's spawns right there. Just play the corner, right? Running out in the open, if you miss this Javelin, it's highly possible that you could die out here, and I don't think it's worth it. Alright, now you're in the Orisa mirror. So I mentioned this in other videos, but you want to force out spin, then you want to force out fortify, then you force out second spin, and then you pop fortify and kill her. If you can get through those 3 abilities without popping fortify, it's like a guaranteed fight winner. The key thing is just having better accuracy, using better cover, and timing to force that out. Miss Javelin. So it's perfectly okay to just shoot the Orisa here, right? She's the only reasonable target. Like, everybody else is so far back, especially with the new damage fall off for Orisa. It's perfectly okay to just shoot the Orisa. So right here, you're grossly overextended. You've walked around corner, you're trying way too hard to kill the backline, and it forces fortify. So if I'm the Orisa now, and I see that you pop fortify, great. Now I run at you, right? I give you, like, I wait a couple seconds, then I run at you, then I pop spin to bounce both of your spins, and then force your team to shoot at me, and then do nothing. Then I pop fortify, and then you lose. So Orisa, see, the Orisa knows that your fortify is about to end. She pops fortify too early though. She nanos. Now she's in your back line, right? And now what are you gonna do about her? Right, and now the fight's over. And this is all because you waste fortify. This, like, little moment where you try way too hard to kill the Echo and get blown up and fortify here, the enemy Orisa clearly is reacting to this. It's, like, very obvious. She sees and she's like, okay, and then she starts getting aggressive on you. She should have popped spin first, a little bit better, but again, you know, this is gold. Then she gets nano, and then she's just gonna kill everybody now. Killing everybody / making space. So this is a die or get out moment. Right? You should have died sooner than that, faster than that. Because you want to get back as soon as possible to be able to have a second contest on the point. Very important to get a second contest here. I think you have to contest this. Because if you don't contest this, you only get one more fight before the game ends. Okay? If you contest this, even if it's only like a 25% chance of winning that fight, I think that you take that fight. Because your team has 3 ultis right now. There's a very good chance, and they used nano in the previous fight. There's a very good, reasonable 25 to 40% chance that you win this fight if you force this fight. Not forcing this fight right now is a huge mistake. Alright, you're not going to force the fight. Unfortunate. By the way, if you see Ana go for sleep like that, just pop spin. Just stop it. So you're playing really far back here, which doesn't make any sense. So first of all, you want to try your absolute best to get 2 fights here. All right, it's unlikely, but it's possible if you die. What's the most credible scenario that this happens is that you die, but most of your team stays alive and wins the fight. In which case, you can get back and force two possible. When I say fights, I mean losses, right? 2 lost fights to have to lose the game. But you playing this far back doesn't make any sense. Your soldier's playing directly above him. So you don't want a situation where your soldier's pressuring them, but you're too far away to do anything, which is exactly what's happening right now as your soldier is visoring, right? You should have been playing this corner right here, and then when your soldier visors, then you can go in and try to help. But now you're playing way too far back. Your soldier's forced to visor all by himself. Okay, so that ends up working pretty well. So, but you notice the fact that like your soldier had visor and used that to win a fight. But imagine if you did that on the previous point. That would have been huge, you know? If you dropped down there, your soldier very possible that your soldier could have carried that fight and then won and given you yet another fight, right? Plus they have that long walk back to the first point. It is much harder for them to take this point than it is for them to take this fight because of the spawn distances. So just spin and get out right now, right? If you spin, you're gonna be totally fine. Spin and just leave. But I'm pretty sure what's gonna happen here is that you're fortified instead of spin. Then you don't shoot while you're fortified. Oh, you're sort of shooting but missing, right? Then you had the opportunity when this echo over pursues right here. You could have javelined her, right, and potentially gotten a kill. Right, then Bob's in here, and now you're in big trouble. Okay. You have made many mistakes here, right? In terms of the over pursuit, inability to finish kills, didn't kill or nearly kill the Echo. Even if you nearly killed her, she would have played back, right, and then waited to get healing. Yeah, I mean, just all the things have gone wrong right now. Your only hope at this moment in time is to get a huge ulti to win this fight. So I would immediately drop down and ulti everybody because I know where they are. Right? I know they're all going to be streaming in from below because I saw them. So I want to drop right here. I want to pull everybody to me and then pray because that's the only way you win this fight. So you don't go for the ulti, which is I think is a giant mistake. You must recognize like this is pretty much the last fight of the game. You go for Mega. There's no tanks like cannot survive. Okay. Again, soldier does 162 damage per second. Okay. Soldiers don't miss tanks. This is just not a thing that happens. So whenever you see a soldier, you should think, I'm going to take 162 damage a second, right? If the soldier can see me. And I'm not at long range, which this clearly does not count, okay? There's no scenario where you're going to be able to run to this Mega and not die. Even from just a soldier. Forget anybody else who's alive. Just a soldier alone will easily kill you. You only have 90 health. The soldier will kill you in less than a second. Again, you might say, oh, what can I do differently? I mean, not put yourself in that position. I'm just clarifying that running for them, I just would have like javelined the soldier, right? And potentially. So what you could have done is probably like maybe like hide here for a moment on the outside edge because the soldier's probably trying to hunt you down. Then spin into the soldier and then javelin and then shoot to possibly at least trade. However, this is an Echo ultimate, so even trading is not going to do very much. But again, you put yourself in a really bad situation here. Your best chance was to ulti when you still had like 400 health in the middle of the whole team. And now there's nothing you can do. Yeah, now the game's over. Okay, so in summary, I think your mechanics have gotten better. I think that you clearly have tried to change a good chunk of your decision making from the previous game. But I think that you still have a lot of issues around the timing of when to attack, right? Not attacking targets that are easy, understanding when you're winning or losing. Ability usage, I think, still needs a lot of work. And then yeah, I mean, your aim is still an issue. Not nearly as bad as it was the previous game I watched, but like your aim is still an issue. But I think mostly, I think we talk about it from. I think that the focus here should be on cooldowns or good ability usage and general decision making, like who to target and when to push. And hopefully, I covered that in good detail in this game. All right, hope that's helpful.